what you're saying. You're flying higher than a plane and you're not complaining.
Hi guys, and welcome back. We're bringing you another surgery vlog, surgery 2.0 if you will. I had endo surgery almost 2 years ago, I think now, in 2020 in August, and yeah, we're back. Back again. Different surgeon, doctor, gynecologist this time around, different hospital, slightly different procedure. I'm having a laparoscopy again, which is what I had last time, which is a camera through the belly button. I'm also having this mysterious word that I can't pronounce. Essentially, it means they go through my cervix. And also have a look around there, which will be so fun. And hopefully you're just getting more answers. If you haven't seen the previous surgery vlog and you have no idea what I'm talking about, essentially I have endometriosis, which means that tissue similar to the lining of your uterus grows outside your body, and it's actually been found on every single organ. It is a full body disease, so that's hashtag fun. And they did cut out endo last time, and I just didn't feel any better. I thought I did, and I look back at that surgery vlog, and after I wasn't as bloated, I felt great, but then like probably 2 months after my surgery, I went on a decline, and I just kept feeling worse and worse, and I wasn't sure why. But I complained to my boss a lot, love her, bless her soul. She was like, I think there is something else wrong with you, and I think that something may be adenomyosis, which is, I think people refer to adeno as endo's older evil cousin or evil twin. It's kind of similar, but it grows like in the tissue instead of outside and can attach to all your other organs, so you can't cut it out because it's like in your tissue, in your uterus. So the only way to get rid of it is to take out the entire uterus, which ain't an option. So yeah. Here we are, back again. Ooh, ooh. So I'm having surgery tomorrow with a really excellent surgeon, doctor, gynecologist at the Wesley. He does it all. He's amazing. He has been very insightful. So yeah, that's happening tomorrow. I've been nervous for so long, and that's most of the reason why I didn't go away for my birthday, because normally I love a holiday and I will go away for a couple of nights, but I just couldn't bring myself to like go on a birthday holiday because I didn't think I'd enjoy it, like knowing that a couple of days later I'm having this surgery. So I've just been dreading it, but now that it's like tomorrow, I actually feel pretty good about it. I'm not too nervous. I took a rat test this morning. It was negative. I did have a sore throat, but we did sleep with the aircon on, so I'm hoping that was it. But they do test me tomorrow at the hospital, so fingers crossed I don't have COVID. We can get this over and done with. But so I have today off until next Wednesday the 18th, which is also my dad's birthday, so I go back on the Thursday the 19th of May. Yeah. This is the goodie basket that the girls at work got me. It's so cute. So they got me a card and they all wrote a little note, which is so sweet, and then they got me a heat pack bunny, which I'm so excited about, and it's so soft. And I also have a lavender heat pack, which is it just smells very nice. I'm very excited for that. And they also got me a warming eye mask, which I just really need in my life, and I didn't know I needed it until now, and I'm very excited to use that. It's also very soft. But they got me a bunch of healthy snacks. I have brownie bites, I have choc chip bakes, I have nut butter bites. I have these, I love these, the protein balls from Health Lab. And I have protein chocolate, which I didn't know was a thing, and I'm so excited to try these. That looks delish. I've got a candle which smells amazing, and I got a little basket and a scarf. Oh, I'm so happy. Thank you guys. I love it. Good morning. We are headed to the hospital. It's 6:50-ish. Very early. It's raining. I have a pimple on my nose and I couldn't use any skincare last night because I needed to be clean for today. So we're just going to deal with that. Try not to look at it. But I am not feeling funky fresh this morning, which is just great. But we're headed to the hospital, hopefully don't hit too much traffic, to be admitted at 8 AM for surgery at 9 AM.
Alrighty, I am just waiting outside the hospital now. Beck is out of surgery, everything went well, all is okay. She is resting at the moment. They don't really know when she'd sort of be ready to be picked up, so I've just come up here early. I found a place to park a bit away from the hospital that doesn't cost a fortune. So yeah, that way I can be right near the hospital when it's time to get her. And it is raining very heavily, as I'm sure you can hear. But everything went well. That's what mattered. I have let Beck's mum know. So yeah, good news all round.
It's 5:50. I took a mean 5-hour nap, but I think I should be going home soon.
Hello, I'm home. It is 7:15 p.m. I'm feeling all right. I really thought I was going to stay the night, but here I am. GYG. My stomach really hurt when I woke up. And they gave me quite a few painkillers. But I think I woke up at about 12:30, probably about 12, I think. And I ended up sleeping for like 5 hours. I think I finally like got up and got out of bed at 5 o'clock. So yeah, bit of a long day. I really feel like sleeping for so long after surgery makes you feel so much better when you do get up and go out of bed, because last time I slept for 4 hours and I felt pretty good by the time I got into the room. But yeah, I felt alright. I had some more painkillers just before I left and some food for the first time in almost 24 hours. I had some cheese and crackers, so it made me feel a lot better, and I was like, I'm just ready to come home. It's been a long day. So I have 3 wounds, and it seems to be the exact same spot, thank you, as last time. So I'll show you those tomorrow. But my shoulders hurt ever since I've started sitting up just before I left. And yeah, my stomach's not too bad. I've had a lot of painkillers, so I'm doing all right, but I have some endone to take if it gets worse. But yeah, here I am. I'm really hungry, so I'll talk to you more about it tomorrow because I really want to eat. And my mum's coming over in her pajamas too. Good afternoon. It's 4:13 the next day. I had a very relaxing day. I woke up and my stomach really hurt this morning, so I popped some endone. It's been about maybe 8 hours, so I can have another one if I want. But it's really weird because last time I had surgery, it was just my shoulders hurt so much from the gas. And then my shoulders are like a bit sore, but that's like the least of my problems. My stomach hurts so much. It's very hard to get up and get down, like in and out of bed, and it's very hard to just sit upright. So I've just been relaxing in bed, reading my book. I just started Confess by Colleen Hoover. It's very good. But I wrote down a bunch of notes when I woke up this morning because I knew I would forget what happened yesterday. So I have a bunch of notes. So I thought I'd chat about my experience yesterday. The anaesthetist came in, saw me, put the cannula in my hand, which actually really hurt. I don't think I've had one in my hand before. I think my last surgery was in this elbow crease. I don't think I've had one in my hand, but it really hurt. And he just like went through and asked me the normal questions. And I probably waited for like 15 minutes, and then the assistant surgeon came in and chatted. She was very lovely. And then probably about 20 minutes later, my surgeon, doctor, gynecologist, he does it all. He's a doctor, gynecologist who is my surgeon. I'm probably going to call him like all of those things. So if you're confused, it's all the same person. But about 20 minutes later, my gyno came in, chatted to me, ran over the procedure again. He took down Hayden's number so we could text the both of us once he was done, which is very handy. I'll read out the text message. I do have that on here still. But as soon as he was done, he walked into the theatre, and there were like 2 nurses waiting behind him that wheeled me into the theatre. But they moved me right up next to the bed and helped me like scooch over onto the operating bed, which was really narrow. Really narrow. Like my arms didn't fit on the bed. And there was like this weird hole like just below where my butt sits on the bed. It was really odd. But then my anaesthetist came over and hooked up like a tube into the cannula. And at that point I was talking to everyone else in the room, repeating my name, date of birth, what I was having, who my doctor was. And I remember like when I was talking to them, I was like, oh, it feels really weird to talk. And then I like blinked my eyes and they were really funny. And I just remember looking over at my anaesthetist and I was like, oh wow, you've given me the good shit, huh? And he's like, yeah, I gave you the good shit. And then they placed like a board under my right arm because it wasn't quite like on the bed, so it like had something to support my arm with. And then I just remember the anaesthetist saying, I'll administer it now, and then I was asleep. And like that's the last thing I remember. And if you can hear that, that is the rain. It's very rainy today. But yeah, I think they said beforehand the procedure was only probably about an hour long, maybe about an hour and a half I think I was in there. And the next thing I remember, it felt like I was having a dream, but I don't know if I was dreaming. It might have just been like the voices and everything I was hearing around me. But I just remember thinking, why the f are you waking me up? And then I opened my eyes and I was like, oh shit, that's right, I am having surgery. And I've just woken up. Like I completely forgot why I was there. I remember like really struggling to keep my eyes open. I think I kept going back to sleep, but as soon as I woke up, my stomach hurt. And then she gave me something that started with F. I have no idea what it was. But she gave me probably about 3 doses of that through the drip, and it still hurt, but I was in there for a little while, like just in and out of sleep. And I think I had a high temperature. It was either high temperature or high blood pressure, but I'm pretty sure it was the temperature because I feel like I remember them sticking the thermometer in my ear. And I kept asking her what time it was, and I asked her other questions, but I kept forgetting what I asked her, and she's like, it's okay, like you won't remember what you've asked me. And she just kind of laughed at me. It was very funny. And then at that point I think they called Hayden and said like I'm awake and it'd be a few hours until I was ready to go home. By that point like my throat hurt, which I remembered was from the tube being down there last time. My stomach was hurting a lot. It just felt like really bad period pain, which for me is chronic pain, so it was really, really painful. And then they gave me the 3 doses of whatever that medication was in the drip. And I think I was only there for probably about half an hour until they moved me into the post-op ward. And that's when they gave me endo at about 2 o'clock. And I slept like on and off for 5 hours. And I could have forced myself to stay awake and like only slept for a couple of hours, but I think it's just so good to sleep and to force yourself to keep going back to sleep, because everyone else was like leaving after an hour or 2 hours and they were still in so much pain. They were so out of it, and I had so many painkillers while I was there. Like by the time I left, I wasn't drowsy at all. I was really with it. I wasn't super tired and I wasn't in a lot of pain. But they kept checking on me probably every half an hour. She would have a look at the pad because obviously like you bleed, kind of like a period. I think she ended up changing it once, but I just remember like slightly waking up and she would like check how much I was bleeding. She'd check my temperature and my blood pressure like every half an hour. And yeah, I slept for like 5 hours, heaps of painkillers. I did have to pee before I was allowed to leave, so she's like, oh, like we'll have to start waking you up. And she tilted the bed up a bit, left me. I went back to sleep for like 10 minutes. She came back, tilted me up a little bit more, and put my legs flat down to like start putting the pressure on my stomach. And she came back probably about 10 minutes later and woke me up, and she's like, okay, you need to start getting dressed. And I just remember sitting there like holding my stomach like, ugh. And she came in and she's like, do you just want to try and go to the bathroom? And I was like, yeah, I will. So she wheeled me in there. I peed, so I was allowed home, which really hurt. Oh my god, so painful. And then she put me back in the wheelchair and then like put me back onto the bed. And I think I probably at that point was like, I need some more painkillers. And she's like, we've already given you way too much. She called the anaesthetist, and he was like, oh, she can have another one of whatever those ones that were started with F were, I don't know, the tiny tablets. So I had another one of those, and at that point I was like, can I please have some food? I hadn't eaten at that point in almost 24 hours because it was like probably about 5:30. And I think I'd finished eating at about 7:30 or something the night before. So it'd been almost an entire day and I was hangry. So she gave me like little cheese and crackers and like 2 like sweet biscuits. And once I had that and the second lot of medication, I was like, okay, I think I'm ready to go home. Because I was fully expecting to stay the night, but they were really keen on sending me home. And once I had that second painkiller in the food, I felt all right. So at that point, the nurse helped me put on my bra. I put on my dress, which was a great choice. Highly recommend wearing a dress. It was so easy to get on. And nothing like pressing on your stomach, like pants, no pressure or anything. So yeah, then I was like, okay, I think I'm ready to go home. And they're like, okay. So they called Hayden, who at that point had been there since like 12:30 or 1, whenever they called him. He'd been sitting in the car for like 3 hours because he thought, oh, you know, she'll only be a couple of hours, and I kept sleeping, not knowing he was waiting at the hospital. Sorry. Yeah, so he came and picked me up. They like wheeled me down to the pharmacy and I picked up some more endone. And then they wheeled me out the front and Hayden was waiting there, and I hopped in the car. Got some GYG on the way home, which you would have saw. I'll read out the text message from the gyno. So he said, all went well, you're on the way to recovery, no fresh endo, so nothing more that's grown back. However, you had an adhesion from the back of your uterus to the deep part of your pelvis. So he excised, what do you, yep. So he like cut it, and they took a little bit to get sent away and see if it had any microscopic endo in it. So I'll find out on Tuesday, I'm sure. But he said, you also have what I believe is adenomyosis, as I expected. In a few weeks, I'll have to go get a tertiary scan by an expert scanner to confirm the severity of it. I can't read what he said. What did he say there? Adeno does cause many of the same symptoms as endo.
Yeah, I think that's what he meant.
Yeah, and he said he'll contact me tomorrow, which he texted me about 9:30 this morning to see if I was okay, and I'm like, I'm all good, see you on Tuesday. So yay, it's very bittersweet.
Yeah, just not vibing, not feeling funky fresh. Just before Mum came over last night, she was bringing Macca's, so just before she came over, I got up to pee, and when I was sitting there, my stomach just started hurting a lot, and then I went and sat back down on the couch, and Hayden got me some endone, but it was just like the worst pain I felt in my entire life, which sounds very dramatic, but it's not. It was genuinely the worst pain I felt in my entire life, and like waiting for that endone to kick in took what felt like an eternity, and it just like, I almost just couldn't breathe from the pain, and I just wanted to vomit. So that's really fun. And ever since then, my stomach just keeps hurting. But the more I lie here with like a pillow under my legs, propping my stomach up, I feel a bit better. So I think I'm just gonna stay on the couch and not move until I have to leave the house Tuesday next week. Hello, still from the same spot on the couch. It's almost 12 p.m. Hayden's just ducked out to go and get some delicious lunch for us. But I'm currently reading, just over halfway through my book. And yeah, I'm in a lot of pain. It's just, it comes in such random waves, and I really didn't expect to be in this much pain, and it's kind of surprising. And it's the type of pain where like I can't cry, but instead it just like makes me almost vomit and like takes my breath away. Like it's just, it truly is the worst pain I've felt in my life, and I just have to sit there and breathe until like the endone kicks in after about 20 minutes, but it's just terrible. So this is the comfiest spot in the house. I currently just have 2 pillows behind me, and then just under my knees I have a smaller pillow, and then that sort of supports my body. But oh boy, this really sucks. I am just so close to like calling an ambulance every single time, but then I think, oh, that's too dramatic, like don't go to the hospital. But then I'm like, this is also excruciating, but I don't know how painful it's supposed to be if I'm like having something wrong internally and that's why I'm in so much pain, or if this is just how much it's supposed to hurt and then the hospital would be too dramatic. I don't know. It's just awful. And the last thing I think to do is pick up my camera and vlog while I'm like dying. So morning. It's almost 7 o'clock. What a night. I probably about maybe 2:30, 3 o'clock yesterday afternoon just kept having such bad pain, and I was like, ugh, I don't know what to do. I don't know if I've like damaged something internally, because it is just such excruciating pain. And we ended up calling 13 Health, and they always say to just go to the hospital. So we went, Hayden drove, they did a CT scan of my abdomen, which was fine. They did blood tests, I had no infection. They gave me some good drugs, and I ended up leaving probably about 11 o'clock last night. I asked to leave.
10:15.
10:15. There you go. I was like, I feel fine. Like, send me home. It's okay. Went home, went to sleep, very tired, and I woke up. What time did I wake up this morning? Just before 5.
Yeah, right.
And I was like, I woke up to my stomach hurting, and I was like, oh yeah, that's amazing. Hayden, can you get me some endone? And by the time I'd sat up to try and take the medicine, my stomach just instantly got 10 times worse. And I was like, oh boy, here we go. And I ended up going to the bathroom, peed, still excruciating pain, somehow worse than the excruciating pain I was already having. I held my vomit down with everything in my body and soul, because I hate vomiting. It's like my legs were shaking. I felt like I couldn't breathe. I was so close to passing out, and all I could think was, I just need an ambulance. And we didn't call them for like 5 minutes, and then just got to the point where it wasn't getting better, and I was like, call the ambulance. Your thoughts on that experience?
10 out of 10 would do again.
Never seen me in such pain.
Nah.
Scary.
Yeah.
They just left just then. It's almost 7, and like my pain's not too bad now that the endone's like well and truly kicked in. But they took all my vitals, and they said I look fine. They said they can take me to hospital, and I was like, no, there's not much point. And she's like, if it starts to get bad again, just call us. And they'd rather take my vitals and make sure I'm okay and then leave happy than it be something worse. So yeah, that was fun. I'm so tired. I just cannot believe how painful it's been. Like, I knew this would be worse than the last one, but this is just insane.
The next level.
The next level. Good morning from a very rough head. Today is Tuesday. I didn't vlog anything yesterday because I've just honestly had like the worst week of my life. But I'm sitting here with my oats, so it's getting better. But yesterday morning at about 2:30, I woke up. That was in the morning, 2:30 in the morning. I woke up and my chest, like at the top of my chest here, really hurt. A different type of pain to what I had been getting. It was like not a stabbing sharp pain, it was like a deep aching kind of tight pain. And I was like, this doesn't feel good. And it's in a completely different spot to the pain I'd been getting. It's like sort of where my lungs were, like in my ribs. So yeah, it was just the worst pain. I sat there and I cried and I just let it all out, and it wasn't getting any better. So I just was like, I don't know what this pain means. I haven't felt this pain in my life before. I don't know if something's wrong. So I ended up calling the ambulance again for the second time, and they came. It was an hour each time we had to wait for the ambulance, which I didn't mind because obviously there's probably people dying and having heart attacks, but I ended up sitting there. And an hour later they came. They were very lovely, scoped me out, and they're like, look, we should probably just take you to the hospital. And I was like, okay.
At that point, my blood sugar was low. I've only had my blood sugar tested a handful of times, but it was quite low. So I had a glass of apple juice, which tasted so good. I could tell it was low. But I had a glass of apple juice. Everything else, like all my vitals were fine, but they took me to the hospital. Now I get car sick, like quite car sick, and I held back with all of the strength in my body and soul, vomit that entire car trip, and my pain started to get a bit worse. It was a very bumpy ride. I'd never had a ride in an ambulance before. That was a first for me. So by the time I got to the hospital, I felt a little bit better now that like the car had stopped. But he did give me like an anti-nausea like tablet that was berry flavored that goes under your tongue. Tasted like crap, which he did warn me. And they like gave me my armband and like were debriefing like the people at the hospital about what was happening. At that point, the pain had subsided but started to come back. I didn't really say anything. I looked miserable. I'm like, you can tell I'm in pain. And they ended up putting me into a wheelchair, wheeling me around to the waiting room in emergency. And I sat there 5.5 hours. Yeah, I had a really rough day. So someone saw me once in that 5.5 hours, took my vitals, gave me a cup of water to take my normal morning medication, which I had brought with me. I brought a book. I sat there 5.5 hours, and like it was irritating, but like I understand there's like people who are in more pain and need help, like, you know, before me, but it was very hard to sit there for 5.5 hours. And I ended up being seen. They just like gave me some fluids and they took my blood, which, okay, they've been really struggling to find my veins for some reason. For like the past month I've been having blood tests, which apparently is quite a lot, but they ended up getting like a little like ultrasound kind of device and putting it in the crease of my arm here, and then found a vein and then like stuck it in like right there. It was very weird. I haven't had that done before. Hello, darling.
Hello.
So yeah, he ended up taking some blood. They were fine, the results, except my infection rate was higher than what it was when I was in hospital like the day before. And he said that's probably because of just everything that's going on like in my body, but they couldn't find anything wrong. Like my stomach felt fine to him when he was feeling it. So yeah, they gave me some fluids. I went home, but other than that, like I started to feel fine. Like I didn't have any stomach pains. I was rejoicing. I cleaned the house a little bit. I was living my best life. And then I went to bed last night, and my stomach started to hurt, and I was like, F my life. I ended up taking another endone, which I didn't really want to do. I hadn't taken one for so long before then. I ended up taking another one, and I feel all right now. My stomach's like, it's very tender. I can feel like the pain will come back. I'm not sure what the pain is. I don't know, I'm a bit over it, but I'm having my oats, and I have an appointment today. So my surgeon who did the surgery I'm supposed to have the follow-up appointment with actually has COVID, so I can't see him today, but I'm seeing like one of his other like colleagues for an appointment at 11 o'clock today. And other than that, I'm supposed to be having an iron infusion tomorrow, which I'm honestly just going to reschedule because I'm exhausted. I at least got like a decent-ish sleep last night for the first time in ages, which is great. And I had a shower last night. I washed my face and did my skincare, which felt so good. I have downgraded 2 band-aids over my wounds, which I'll show you later on. So they're not as bad, like they're healing pretty well. It's much later on. It's just past 9. I've got my book. We're in bed, aircon's on, living my best life. But we went to the appointment earlier today, and he pretty much said that the reason I'm still having such pain is because there's like blood from the surgery like in my bowel, around my bowel, I don't know, something to do with blood left over from the surgery irritating my bowel, which can be excruciatingly painful and feel like period pain, which makes total sense. They said they like take a lot of the blood out, but when removing the tools, like it just takes like 1 drop of blood to like make your bowels just really angry. So the blood from the surgery has been what's causing my pain, which is great because it takes like 8 days for you to feel better. Apparently it's not super common though, so I just happened to get extremely unlucky and I'm just suffering in agony. but he ended up giving me a different type of medication rather than endone. It's not as good. It's really not. Endone takes away most of the pain. This is like half of an endone, and it's like still a dull pain, and if I get up it starts to hurt. Like I got up and I had a shower before and I just had to sit right back down with a heat pack. Like I had a very quick shower. So I have that, but it's not as hardcore as endone, so it's good. But I have my little bunny heat pack chilling over there. The girls in the work group chat helped me name him. His name is Rabbit Downey Jr. Love it. But I haven't been able to use a heat pack because they said you can't use a heat pack because of your wounds, and I just was today, I was like, just give me the heat pack, I need it. And it just so instantly relieves a lot of the pain. It doesn't make it go away completely, and it's like a dull ache when I'm just sitting on the couch, but it's a lot better than what it has been. So yeah. Hopefully not much longer of this. I'm hoping by Sunday I'll be a new woman and I'll not be in pain. Good morning. I have a serious case of bed hair. I'm so sorry, but it's about, what's the time? 9:30 in the morning. Hayden has a 12-hour shift today, so he left at 5. Mum came over at 5. She's currently out at the moment on a visit with work, so she should be back soon. Hopefully bring back some food. But she made me oats this morning. We had some oats in bed. I finished my book, and I've started a new one, so I'm just chilling. I've gone back to the endone. I don't know if I mentioned that last night, but the stuff that the doctor gave me yesterday, just, it ain't cutting it. It's not strong enough. So I've gone back to the endone, which is helping. I'm not in a lot of pain at the moment, but I know if I get up, I'm going to push it and I'm going to be in a lot of pain. So I think I'm just going to stay in bed for the next couple of days. But Hayden has 2 night shifts. So he starts 6 p.m. on Thursday, and then 6 p.m. on Friday. So he'll be home with me tomorrow throughout the day, and I think Mum just might come and sleep over. I'm like fine for most of the day, but it's just like if I need to get up and like cook things and do things, like I literally only get up to pee and that's it. Mum will like make all the food, and you know, Hayden will make dinner and stuff, and I'll get my heat pack, because yeah, if I get up I'm just pushing it, and I really don't want to be in pain anymore. I'm exhausted. But so I'm really hoping by Monday next week I'll be back at work, back to normal. I miss my routine, I miss my job, I miss being out of the house. The only time that I've really been out of the house is for hospital or appointments yesterday. So I really want to go do something fun. But yeah, so I'm just going to chill. I'm going to read my book. Mum will bring back some food, but I imagine I'm just quite literally going to be sitting in bed. But I booked a follow-up appointment with my surgeon next Tuesday, so I'll be able to chat more about what they found in the surgery, and what the next steps are, because he has COVID and I couldn't see him yesterday. But yes, so that's the plan. It's Friday. I don't think I picked up the camera yesterday, but I felt a little bit better yesterday. I wasn't in as much pain, and with like the endone and the other medication I was given, Panadol seemed to subside it between like the 6 hours where I could take another one, and the heat pack seemed to work really well. So it's definitely better. Today I'm doing a lot better still. I still like laid in bed all day. I didn't want to get up and push it, but I'm starting to feel like I'm slowly getting back to normal. But Hayden's on another 12-hour night shift, and I probably could stay here by myself. Like I think I'd be fine, but I just want to have someone there, because if it gets really bad in the middle of the night, it makes it so much worse to like get up, get medication, do my heat pack. I'd just rather have someone there that could do it. So I'm sleeping over my parents' house tonight, in my old bedroom, and I'll get some yummy dinner. But yeah, I'm really happy that I'm at least feeling better, not in as much agony every single part of the day. So I'm gonna go over there, spend the night. Hayden's gonna pick me up on his way home from work at about 6:30 tomorrow morning. And I really hope I can like get out of the house and do something on the weekend, maybe on Sunday, like a brunch or something like that. But I'm halfway through another book. I'm reading Verity from Colleen Hoover. And then I brought a spare book with me and my iPad. So I'll just have a chill night and I'll relax. I'm also wearing Hayden's pajama shirt. Hello from future Beck. I had my post-op appointment with my surgeon and he showed me some photos, showed me some results. Long story short, at this stage I do have adenomyosis. Love that for me. So the next step from here is I'm getting another internal ultrasound done, and that will sort of tell us how bad the adeno is, and that will depend on like the next steps in terms of like medications and treatments, because at this stage it's very hard to try and give me something without knowing how bad it is. So internal ultrasound, also a scan of my liver, because it was sitting kind of weird. He couldn't see behind my liver, so he wants like an ultrasound to make sure that there's nothing hiding behind my liver. He said probably nothing to worry about, so I'm not going to worry about it. But he said from the pictures, it's very clear to me this is what's wrong with you. We just need to know how bad, and that will depend on if I keep taking my current medication, which we did change in the appointment. So at the moment, I have my medication next to me. I am taking Brenda, the birth control pill. He put me on this for my acne. Clearly it's working very well. But I've been on that for, I think, since the start of the year when I first saw him. And I'm also taking Primolet, which is just like progesterone. So I take these two together. So I take one Brenda at night, and instead of taking one of these, I now take two of these. The reason I'm on so many bloody hormones is because my body was getting period pain without having a period, and I was like, what's up with that? And that happened for years, and I got to the point where when I booked in at the start of the year to see this doctor, he said that is because you have endo, you probably have adeno, and those two things are too much for one tiny birth control pill to fully stop your period. He's like, there is too much going on, you need to take something in addition to the birth control to calm everything down. So that's where the Primolet came in. And since that post-op appointment, he put me onto two, because I said just before my surgery that's the pain I was getting again, even with one Primolet pill. So now I take two. And depending on the results of the scan, it may be continuing that medication. It may be taking something similar to Primolet that's like 10 times more expensive, which I don't really want to do, or the Mirena, which is the most common, I guess, treatment for adeno, and what he definitely recommends and prefers because it just works so well. But I said to him when I first saw him, I really don't want a Mirena, for a plethora of different reasons, and he said that's okay, we'll make it the last resort, and knowing my bloody luck, I will be here in 2 months time with a Mirena. See you then. At this stage, I have some photos from the surgery. I'll insert them. Essentially, I think you can see my liver in the photos, and you can see my uterus and the adhesion. There was also ones of inside, like through my cervix, and I don't have those ones, but you could tell that it looked angry and that's not what it's supposed to look like. But he pointed out the different things that to him says adeno and what isn't what a uterus is supposed to look like. So we need to get the scans done, see how bad it is, figure out a treatment, and then yeah. I will mention too my scars. I'll insert one of the my side, which looks fine. He actually cut the same spot as my last surgery on my side, so there's not like a new scar, it's just sort of a slightly bigger one. My belly button's completely healed. My lowest scars, I actually have two. I didn't realize till I took off my bandage, but I technically have 4 scars from this surgery, but they're doing very well, they're fine. They tend to heal very quickly. I literally just took the bandages off like after a couple of days. I ran water over them in the shower, and I'd put betadine and band-aids on, and they're fine. They heal very well. So on the road to recovery, but I will update you guys once I have my appointment and get my scans and my next steps and have another appointment. And yeah, thanks for watching me suffer through the worst weeks of my life. I will see you in our next vlog. Bye!